For your entire life, you have been told a story about God, a story built upon sand that is now crumbling beneath the weight of your own unanswered prayers and unfulfilled longing. You have been led to believe in a distant monarch, a celestial judge who dispenses favors and punishments from a throne somewhere beyond the clouds. This is the lie. This is the idol you have been taught to worship, and it has kept you in a state of perpetual separation, forever reaching outward for a presence that has never, for a single moment, been absent. What if everything you think you know is a barrier to your actual experience? What if the truth is so much nearer, so infinitely more intimate and powerful, that it has remained hidden in plain sight? We are not here to polish the old concepts. We are here to shatter them, to move beyond the words and the rituals into the very heart of the living reality. This journey we undertake now is not for the faint of heart. It is for the sincere seeker, for the one who is ready to lay down the burden of 1,000 yesterdays and be introduced to the I am that you are. What you will discover here is not a new teaching, but the eternal truth unveiled. It is the foundation upon which all lasting harmony, peace, and power are built. If your inner being has been stirred, if a recognition has been awakened within you, then you are called to participate in this sacred work. Lend your attention completely, for in this atmosphere of shared consciousness, the real will reveal itself. Let your subscription to this channel be a sacred vow to your own awakening, a commitment to go deeper, and as a symbol that you are releasing the old and making room for the new. Comment with the number 777 below, marking this moment as your departure from the outer court and your entrance into the inner sanctuary of truth. For generations, this very idea has been presented to us, wrapped in the language of faith, but built upon a foundation of complete misunderstanding. We have been instructed to pray to this external entity, to plead for its intervention, to fear its judgment, and to perform rituals to gain its favor. This entire framework, while perhaps well-intentioned, is the very barrier that keeps us in a state of lack, confusion, and spiritual poverty. It is the ultimate lie, and its consequences are felt in the quiet desperation of our everyday lives. Consider for a moment the nature of your own prayers. When you face a financial difficulty, a health crisis, or a relationship strained to its breaking point, what is the inherent posture of your prayer? Is it not, in its essence, a call to a separate power, a plea sent out into the universe, hoping to catch the ear of a busy monarch? You present your case, you list your reasons, you may even try to bargain. And when the answer does not come in the form you expected, when the healing is delayed, when the money does not appear, when the situation worsens, what is the inevitable conclusion? You feel ignored. You feel abandoned. You question your worthiness. You wonder, what did I do wrong? Why is God not listening? This entire cycle of hope and despair is predicated on the initial, flawed premise of a God who is other than yourself. This is the cruelest trick of the lie. It sets you up for failure and separation. It places the very source of peace, harmony, and supply at an unbridgeable distance, making it a prize for the worthy rather than the innate reality of your own being. You are like a wave in the ocean, frantically praying to the ocean for wetness, completely unaware that it is your very substance. The wave does not need to beg for ocean-ness. It needs only to realize what it is, and in that knowing, it expresses the full, powerful nature of the ocean without effort. This external God is a mental idol. It is a concept you have carved out of fear and a desire to comprehend the infinite with a finite mind. We have created a God in our own image, a being with moods, with preferences, with a personal will that picks and chooses winners and losers. We speak of God's will as if it were a specific plan for your life that you must decipher. A celestial map you must follow correctly or face punishment. This is the superstition of a bygone age. It is a nursery tale that we must outgrow if we are to know reality. The problem is that this concept is a comfortable prison. It is easier to have a God to blame, to petition, to glorify, than it is to take on the tremendous responsibility of your own divine sovereignty. This lie gives you an excuse for your failures and a reason to be grateful for your successes without ever having to confront the truth that both were orchestrated from a level of consciousness you have yet to master. It keeps you a child in a universe that is waiting for you to claim your adulthood. So, how do you begin to dismantle this idol? It starts with a profound and courageous act of inner scrutiny. The next time you find yourself in a moment of lack, of fear, of sickness, do not look up. Do not send a frantic message to a separate deity. Instead, become still. Be silent. And in that silence, ask yourself one terrifying, liberating question. What is the truth here behind the appearance? The appearance is a barren bank account. The appearance is a doctor's diagnosis. The appearance is a broken relationship. But these are all effects. They are the outer picture of an inner state. The truth is that there is only one life, and that life is God. This life is your life now. It is the very intelligence animating your body, the very substance forming your world. It is not withholding from you. It cannot, for it is your own being. The lack you experience is not a punishment from God. It is the tangible evidence of your belief in a power apart from God, a power in external conditions, in markets, in viruses, in the opinions of others. You have given power to the effect, and in doing so, you have denied the cause. This is the great awakening. You are not a mortal being trying to get God to do something for you. You are the very place where God is being expressed. The harmony, the supply, the wholeness you seek are not commodities to be shipped from a distant throne. They are the natural, inevitable state of your being when you are consciously aligned with the truth of what you are. The healing you pray for is not an event. It is the recognition of the wholeness that has never, for a single moment, been absent. The supply you need is not a check in the mail. It is the infinite creativity of the divine mind, which is your mind finding its perfect expression through you. The peace you crave is not a reward for good behavior. It is the undisturbed stillness of your own nature, when you cease the frantic search for a God outside yourself. So, we have seen that the God of tradition is a phantom, a mental construct that keeps us in a state of beggary, forever separate from the very source we seek. This realization, while jarring, is the necessary first step. It clears the ground of the old, crumbling foundations, so that we may perceive what has always been here, what has been staring back at us from our own mirror, humming in the spaces between our very thoughts. This is the truth that shatters the illusion of distance. The divine is not a being, but the very fabric of being itself. It is not a distant deity, but an ever-present, omnipresent consciousness in which we live and move and have our being. This is not a philosophical abstraction for scholars to debate. This is the most practical truth you will ever encounter. This omnipresent consciousness is the very substance of your life. It is the intelligence that orchestrates the beating of your heart without a single thought from your personal mind. It is the life force that heals a cut on your finger, a process you did not design, nor can you truly command. It is the creative impulse that gives you a sudden solution to a problem while you are in the shower, an idea that seems to come from nowhere. We credit our brains, our education, but that is merely the instrument. The music, the pure knowing, emanates from this vast, impersonal consciousness that is the actual core of your being. Think of the air you breathe. Is it not everywhere, completely omnipresent? You do not pray for air to come to you. You do not beg a distant atmosphere to favor you with its presence. You simply, naturally inhale. You draw from the infinite supply that is already here, already present, already fulfilling its function. The divine consciousness is like that air. It is the unconditioned, limitless field of awareness and life in which all phenomena appear. Your body, your home, your relationships, your work, all are forms appearing within this one infinite consciousness. You are not a separate entity navigating a material world. You are an individual focal point of the one consciousness, experiencing itself in a magnificent diversity of forms. When you feel lonely, when you feel abandoned by God, what is really happening? You are like a fish in the ocean, desperately crying out for water. The feeling of separation is the greatest illusion, the primary veil that obscures reality. You have been taught to look for God in holy books, in sacred buildings, in the sky, in the past, in the future. You have been taught to look everywhere except where God actually is, right here, right now, as the very awareness that is reading these words. This awareness, this sense of I am, that is prior to your name, your history, your thoughts. This is the doorway. This is the holy ground. Your entire spiritual struggle has been an attempt to bridge a gap that does not exist. The purpose of spiritual practice, then, is not to reach a distant God, but to become consciously aware of the God that is already present. It is to shift your identity from the character in the play, the one with all the problems and desires, to the silent, witnessing awareness that is watching the entire drama unfold. This awareness is untouched by the content of the play. It does not get sick. It does not run out of money. It does not feel fear. It simply is. And you are that. When a challenge arises, do not run to a temple. Become the temple. Go within, into the profound silence behind your frantic thoughts. In that stillness, do not ask for anything. Do not petition. Instead, listen. Listen not for a voice, but for a presence. Feel the reality of this one life, this one consciousness, as your own life. Feel its infinite stability. Feel its impartial, unconditional love that is not an emotion, but its very nature. You will not find a thing. You will find a no, thing that is everything. You will find a peace that has nothing to do with external circumstances. You will find a power that is not force, but an unwavering, immutable certainty. This is not you achieving a connection. This is you realizing you were never, and could never be, disconnected. The wave settles and knows itself as the ocean. The seeker rests and knows itself as the sought. This understanding of an omnipresent consciousness is not merely a comforting idea. It is the fundamental truth that redefines everything, most especially your own sense of self. If God is this all-pervading reality, this very ground of being, then the logical, inevitable, and most glorious conclusion must be confronted. Your true identity cannot be the limited, seeking, often fearful person you have always believed yourself to be. That character, with its history and its anxieties, is a temporary formation, a wave upon the ocean. But your essence, that witnesses that character, is the ocean itself. You are not a mortal seeking God. You are the very expression of God, individualized, here and now, for a divine purpose. This is the pivotal point where theoretical knowledge becomes transformative power. To believe you are a separate self, a soul housed in a body, is to live in a state of perpetual spiritual amnesia. It is to be a king who believes he is a beggar, sitting on a throne but pleading for crumbs. All human suffering stems from this misidentification. You feel lack because you believe you are a finite entity cut off from the infinite source. You feel fear because you believe you are a vulnerable body in a hostile world. You feel condemnation because you believe you are a sinful creature separate from its perfect creator. Every negative emotion, every conflict, every instance of disease is, at its core, a symptom of this one fundamental error, believing you are something you are not. Consider the simple act of looking in a mirror. You see a reflection, a face, a body, and you immediately think, that is me. But is it? Are you the image, or are you the awareness that is looking at the image? The image changes, ages, fluctuates. The awareness remains the constant witness. This is a tiny hint of the great truth. You are not the form you see. You are the consciousness aware of the form. You are not the thinker of your thoughts. You are the awareness before the thoughts arise. This awareness is not personal. It is impersonal and universal. It is the same, I am, in you as it is in every other individual. The only thing that is, you, in the limited sense, is the unique and temporary constellation of thoughts, memories, and sensations that are appearing in this field of awareness. But the field itself, the screen upon which the movie of your life is playing, is divine. When you begin to feel this, to know it not intellectually, but as a living reality, your entire relationship with life shifts. A problem arises, perhaps a conflict at work where you feel unfairly treated. The old consciousness, the mortal self, immediately reacts. It feels anger, it plans a defense, it builds a case, it feels the sting of injustice. It operates from a place of separation and threat. But when you remember your true identity, even for a moment, you can pause and step back from the reaction. You can acknowledge the feelings of the mortal character without becoming it. You can ask, what is the truth here? From the perspective of the divine consciousness expressing as this situation. From that vantage point, you may see the fear in the other person. You may perceive a call for love, not an attack. You may receive an intuitive nudge toward a response that brings peace, a solution that could never have been engineered by the defensive, egoic mind. You are no longer a pawn in the drama. You are a conscious actor, expressing the qualities of the one mind, wisdom, harmony, and impartial love. This is not about acquiring a new, improved spiritual ego. It is the exact opposite. It is the dissolution of the central lie of separation. It is the wave relaxing into its ocean nature. You do not become arrogant. You become humbled, for you realize that the greatness expressing itself is not your personal property, but a universal force flowing through you. Your work becomes the activity of God. Your love becomes the love of God. Your creativity becomes the creativity of God. You are its instrument, its outlet, its localized point of expression. The pressure is off. You are no longer solely responsible for making your life work. Your only responsibility is to remain consciously connected to the source, to keep the channel clear of the debris of fear, judgment, and personal will. Then, life lives itself through you with a grace and power that the personal self could never muster. You will find yourself in the right place at the right time. You will say the right words. You will have the ideas you need, not because you manufactured them, but because you have become a transparent vessel for the infinite intelligence that is your own deepest self. This profound reorientation of identity from the mortal to the divine is not an event. It is a process, a fundamental shift in the direction of your entire being. For a lifetime, your consciousness has been turned outward, seeking confirmation, safety, and fulfillment in the world of effects. It has been conditioned to believe that the answer to every problem, the satisfaction of every desire, lies in manipulating the external landscape, getting a different job, a different partner, more money, a better body. This outward reaching is the very engine of the treadmill of human suffering. It is a thirst that can never be quenched, for it is based on the original lie of separation. To truly know yourself as the expression of God, all seeking must turn from this frantic external search to an inward, silent realization. This inward turn is the most practical and radical act you will ever undertake. It is not about adding a new spiritual practice to your busy life. It is about changing the very axis upon which your life spins. The world will tell you to try harder, to do more, to acquire more knowledge, to build better strategies. The spiritual path, as presented here, demands the opposite. It demands that you cease, that you be still, that you become consciously aware of the awareness that you are. This is not passivity. It is the highest form of action. For it is aligning yourself with the causative power of the universe instead of wrestling with its effects. Consider a pond whose surface is churned by a storm. The water is muddy, turbulent, and you cannot see the bottom. You are trying to find a precious jewel that has fallen into it. The natural outward, reaching impulse is to thrash about, to stick your hands into the murky water, grasping wildly. This frantic activity only stirs up more sediment, making the water more opaque. The solution is not more thrashing. The solution is to become still, to wait, to allow the turbulence to subside. As the particles of dirt and debris, the thoughts, the fears, the reactions slowly settle, the water becomes clear. And in that clarity, the jewel is revealed not because you found it, but because you allowed the obscuring elements to vanish. The jewel was always there. The divine consciousness, your true identity, its peace and its power are that jewel. Your frantic seeking is the thrashing that keeps the water muddy. This is the essence of turning within. It is the conscious, deliberate act of withdrawing your faith from the external world of appearances and placing it upon the invisible spiritual cause. When a health issue appears, the world screams for you to look at the symptom, to fear the diagnosis, to put all your faith in the treatment. There is a place for right action, but if that action is not rooted in the inward realization of your innate wholeness, the truth of your being as the expression of the one life, then you are merely polishing the effect while ignoring the cause. The cause is always consciousness. The disease is an effect appearing in the body, which is itself an effect of a deeper state of consciousness. To go within is to turn your attention away from the painful appearance and to rest it upon the reality of that one life, which is whole, perfect, and immortal. You do not fight the disease. You realize the wholeness until the disease, having no correspondence in your consciousness, dissolves for lack of support. The same principle applies to a lack of supply. The outward look sees an empty bank account and immediately generates fear, scheming, and a sense of competition and lack. This fearful consciousness is the very state that perpetuates the emptiness, for you are giving reality to the appearance. To turn inward is to become silent amidst the panic. It is to acknowledge the appearance, but then to turn your gaze to the infinite, abundant, and creative nature of the one consciousness. You abide in the feeling of infinitude. You do not beg for money. You realize yourself as the very substance of supply, and you wait for the intuitive impulse, the right idea, the divinely orchestrated opportunity that is the natural expression of that abundant consciousness. The answer does not come as a repetition of the old. It comes as a new formation, a surprise, a door opening where before there was only a wall. Your outer activity then becomes a joyful following of this inner direction, not a desperate grasping born of fear. This is how you live in the world without being of it. You participate in the effects, but you draw your power, your intelligence, and your very being from the cause. The storm may still rage on the surface, but you have discovered the eternal stillness in the depths, and from that place you command the waves. The journey inward, this profound shift from seeking external solutions to realizing an internal reality, requires a complete recalibration of what we accept as real. Our entire lives, we have been trained by our senses to believe in the solidity of the world around us. We trust what we can see, touch, and measure. We build our lives, our security, and our identities upon this tangible world of effects. But this is the great deception, the grand illusion that must be seen through if we are to know truth. The world you perceive with your five senses is not the primary reality. It is a secondary world, a world of shadows and echoes. The only true reality, the only permanent substance, is the invisible spiritual cause, the divine consciousness itself. This is not a call to deny the world or to live in a state of detached fantasy. It is an invitation to understand the world correctly, to perceive the chain of causation as it truly is. Everything you see, this room, your body, the trees outside, the money in your wallet, is an effect. It is the final, solidified expression of a prior state of consciousness. The world is not creating your experience. Your consciousness is forming the world you experience. The tangible is the offspring of the intangible. The visible is the footprint of the invisible. To live solely in the world of effects is to live in a dream, reacting to shadows on the wall, never turning to see the light that casts them. Let us take a powerful example, your own home. You perceive it as a solid structure of wood, concrete, and glass. This is the effect. But what is the cause? Before it was a physical building, it was a thought. It was an idea in the mind of an architect. That idea was then given form through blueprints, which are still just ideas given symbolic representation. Then came the belief in the possibility of its construction, the desire for shelter, the financial agreements, all intangible, mental or spiritual forces. The physical house is the very last link in a long chain of invisible causes. The substance of the house, in its truest sense, is not the lumber, but the consciousness that conceived it, willed it, and built it. The lumber is merely the form that consciousness took. The cause is always consciousness, the effect is always form. Now, apply this to the challenges of your daily life. You face a situation of conflict with another person. The outward, tangible effect is their harsh words, their angry demeanor. The entire world of effect screams at you to react to this effect, to become angry in return, to defend yourself, to fight fire with fire. But this is to be completely hypnotized by the shadow. The truth is that the other person's behavior is also an effect. It is the outer manifestation of an inner, invisible cause. A cause which is some form of fear, pain, or a sense of separation burning within their own consciousness. To react to the effect is futile. It is like trying to smooth out the reflection in a distorted mirror without fixing the mirror itself. The only transformative power you have is to address the cause, and the only cause you can ever truly address is within your own consciousness. Your reaction to their behavior is your own effect, stemming from your own cause. If you react with anger, you are proving that the cause within you is also a state of fear and separation. You are merely adding your own distortion to the mirror. But if, through that inward turning, you can connect with the reality of the one divine mind consciousness expressing as both you and the other individual, your response shifts. You are no longer reacting to the effect. You are addressing the situation from the level of cause. You become still. You recognize the pain in the other as a misperception, a call for love from a being who has forgotten their identity. From this place, you may not have a scripted response, but you will express a quality. Perhaps a compassionate silence, a word of unexpected kindness, or a firm boundary spoken without malice that has the power to calm the storm because it addresses the invisible turmoil, not the visible waves. This is how you become a healer of situations. You stop believing in the solidity of the problem, and you abide in the reality of the one perfect life, allowing that truth to reshape the form from the inside out. The problem does not get solved on its own level. It dissolves as your consciousness rises above the level of its creation. To live in this recognition of the invisible cause is to move from the theoretical into the actual, from the realm of beautiful ideas into the very substance of a transformed existence. This is the final and most crucial point. This understanding is not an intellectual agreement to be filed away with other spiritual concepts. It is a living, breathing, palpable experience that must, by its very nature, utterly transform your daily life. It is the difference between reading a map of a territory and actually breathing its air, walking its paths, and knowing its secrets in your bones. To know the truth is to be free, but this knowing is not an accumulation of data. It is a radical shift in the very seat of your identity and perception that rewrites every moment of your existence from the inside out. You will know this truth is taking root, not by the absence of challenges, but by a fundamental change in your relationship to them. The storm waves may still rise on the surface of your life, but you will have discovered the unshakable depths beneath them. A financial reversal, a personal betrayal, a sudden illness, these appearances will no longer have the power to define your reality or dictate your inner state. They will be recognized for what they are: temporary formations, effects playing out on the surface. Your work will not be to fight the wave with another wave of fear and resistance, but to abide so deeply in the ocean of divine consciousness that the wave's power is neutralized by your profound stillness. Your peace will no longer be dependent on the weather. It will be the very nature of the climate in which you live. This is demonstrated in the most practical of ways. Consider the moment you receive bad news. The old consciousness, the mortal self, is immediately thrown into a vortex of panic. It races into the future, projecting worst-case scenarios, fueled by a torrent of fearful thoughts. The body responds with tension, the breath becomes shallow, and the world seems to close in. This is the automatic reaction of a being that believes it is alone in a hostile universe. Now, consider the same moment from the standpoint of your realized identity. The news arrives, and the initial shock may still ripple through your system, for you are still in a human form. But almost simultaneously, a new faculty awakens. It is a presence of mind that observes the panic without being consumed by it. It is a gentle inward turning, a silent remembrance. This is an appearance. This is not the ultimate reality. I am that in which this appearance is happening. This is not a denial of the situation. It is a profound change of address. You are no longer standing in the storm. You are standing in the citadel, watching the storm. From this citadel, your response is not one of reaction, but of revelation. You do not frantically try to solve the problem from the same level of consciousness that created the fear. Instead, you become still. You wait. You listen. You rest in the truth of the one life, the one intelligence, the one harmonious principle. And from that silence, an answer emerges. It may be an intuitive knowing of the next right step, a clarity that cuts through the confusion. It may be a sudden insight that reframes the entire problem. It may be a deep, inexplicable calm that allows you to navigate the situation with a wisdom and grace that is clearly not your own. The problem may or may not instantly vanish, but your experience of it will be utterly transformed. You are no longer its victim. You are the conscious witness through which the divine mind is revealing its own solution. This is how your life becomes a continuous demonstration. Your relationships cease to be battlegrounds for the ego and become sacred encounters where you practice seeing the divine identity in the other, even when it is obscured by their behavior. Your work ceases to be a mere means of survival and becomes a unique outlet for the creativity and intelligence of the infinite to express itself through your particular talents. Even your most mundane activities, washing dishes, driving in traffic, waiting in line, become a practice in abiding in the now, in perceiving the sacredness infused in the ordinary, in being a living expression of patience, peace, and unconditional love. You are not trying to become spiritual. You are realizing that you, in your essential nature, are spirit, and you are learning to let that spirit live your life fully, freely, and fearlessly. The veil between the sacred and the profane dissolves, and every moment becomes a holy communion, a fresh opportunity to witness the invisible cause taking visible form as the grace, wisdom, and power of your own daily walk.